we were looking at this being basically turned out to be really interesting ways. And this is really trying to ask the question of sort of application, but this is trying to understand how this works in what ways. This is really one of the implications of equity. That should be the case in our nature, in working with two of these this discovery was really somewhat serendipitous, and I think there was a lot of luck involved. It was helped enormously by two wonderful collaborators who made very close friends and constant contact. Ming Cheng, who's now in Taiwan, and Ulrich Hartl, who's now in Barton Street. And so I'll just tell you the story as it occurred. So the story is about information transfer in the cell. As we know, DNA is transcribed into RNA, and in turn translated into protein. And the step that's involved here is the final step of information transfer, namely that of protein folding. So we know about machines that carry out transcription and translation and have very fine molecular details to those reactions for some years now, increasingly fine. But protein folding has remained somewhat mysterious, and it's really only during the last decade or two that we really started to gain some understanding about how this works in cells. So for those unfamiliar, I should point out that proteins are composed of 20 different amino acids, and these strings of amino acids ultimately fold into characteristic three-dimensional structures. They carry out biological activities, for example, they enzymes, cytoskeleton, hormones, hemoglobin channels, receptors, what have you. Proteins are major effectors in the cell, and so the proper folding is crucial to them being biologically active, because when they're effectively strands of spaghetti leaving a ribosome, they don't necessarily have any biological activity at that point. They have to be folded correctly in order to be active. And so the granddaddy experiment of proteins, something that I heard about when I was an undergraduate at Brown University in 1972, was carried out by Christian Andersen. In fact, in the late 50s, he received his Nobel Prize for his work in 1972. Really interesting experiment where he started with an enzyme, ribonuclease, 100 amino acids with 4 disulfide bonds, and unfolded that protein by treating it with denaturing urea and reductant for cathetoethanol. That produced essentially a random coil version of the protein, and he asked whether when he removed the urea and reductant, whether the protein could find its way back on its own in its to the native active form, and astonishingly it did so. So this proves that a polypeptide chain contains all of the information for folding into the unique native structure in its primary amino acid sequence structure. He also presumed that, in fact, this native state would lie at an energetic minimum. And so this astonishing experiment led people to believe that perhaps inside cells, proteins also fold spontaneously. But increasingly, there were instances where that didn't really happen. Both in a test tube where many proteins could also not be spontaneously refolded, as in the Andersen experiment with ribonuclease, but inside cells where the biotech industry began to express alien proteins, in E. coli, for example, they often saw these terrible-looking aggregates with no biological activity and failed to recover their favorite proteins in a native active form. In this, once again, one saw, as in the test tube, a misfolded aggregated inclusion body, as it were. And so this suggested that something more might be required in the cell to deal with these so-called, what would be kinetic problems of folding, where proteins simply get it wrong and go off halfway and misfold and aggregate. And so we never thought we would have anything to do with this, but we were busy in the late 80s studying mitochondrial protein import. So it turns out that most of the proteins in mitochondria are encoded in the nuclear genome. The messages for these proteins are then translated on cytosolic polyribosomes, and an N-terminal targeting peptide in these proteins directs them to mitochondria. And they're then imported through the mitochondrial membranes, and the targeting peptide is then clipped in a mature-sized protein, then has to fold into its biologically active form. Well, an important experiment was carried out in 1986 by Gottfried Schatz and his co-workers that showed that a protein had to be unfolded in order to transit the mitochondrial membrane. He used hydrofolate reductase as a substrate in these experiments, showing that if you block the HFR into its native state by adding the ligand methotrexate, the protein couldn't go through the membranes. Whereas if you now remove methotrexate or denature the protein, it would go through the membranes. So the question that arose to us as we were studying mitochondrial protein import was, do proteins, upon reaching the mitochondrial matrix stage, refold spontaneously to their active form, as might be suggested by the Andersen experiment, or could there be a machinery that was required to assist the protein to reach its native active form? And so we were in a position to actually test this because we had a bank of temperature-sensitive lethal yeast that contained a galactose-regulated version of the mitochondrial protein, ornithine transfer mammal, a human protein, that we had shown in yeast already could be expressed and would go faithfully through its mitochondria, and a single peptide would become biologically active and make OTC genetic activity. And so our screening was basically to start with temperature-sensitive lethal yeast. The idea being, Schatz and others have revealed that if you can't make your mitochondrial protein in your mitochondria, the cell basically stops its growth and ultimately is lethal. So we started with a bank of lethal mutants programmed to express mitochondrial OTC behind a galopin on the motor, and we proceeded to test each mutant individually for the ability to make OTC activity after shift to non-permissive temperature and shift into galactose to turn on OTC expression under non-permissive conditions. We then analyzed OTC activity. If it wasn't present, we would then Western blot the particular mutant after shift to 37 degrees in induction of OTC to see what the fate of the OTC subunit was. Was it present as a mature size protein, or was it still a precursor that had been recognized by mitochondria? And so our idea was to dissect the mitochondrial import pathway. Well, as we were asking this question about refolding inside the mitochondrial matrix, we knew what we would be looking for in the form of a mutant that affects refolding in the mitochondrial matrix space. We would have mature size OTC subunits because their signal peptide would be cleaved, and it'd be inside the matrix space, then we would have no enzymatic activity because they would have failed to correctly fold in the case of OTC. So trimerized into the active form of the enzyme. So we started to look through our bank of mutants, and to our astonishment, almost right away, having answered this question, we found a mutant in which exactly that happened. So OTC was our initial reporter enzyme, and what we found was that OTC subunits entered, they reached their mature size, and then there was no biological activity at all. So this astonished us. It seems like heresy to have a result like this. So we thought, we better start to look at endogenous yeast proteins and see what is happening to them. So we looked at this particular protein, the F1 beta subunit, and we found that similarly, this beta subunit had failed to assemble into the complex structure, and the subunits themselves looked like they had misfolded in the mitochondrial matrix space. And we were in a bit of a quandary, because again, it seemed like heresy, and we couldn't really feel comfortable about the data at hand. And we were sort of pondering what proteins to look at next, when thankfully the phone rang, and it was Ulrich Hartl and Walter Neubert calling from Munich to say, well, we understand that you guys have some mutants and we would love to get together with you and help on some of the biochemistry of those mutants, if you have some interest. So at that point in history, my lab had 4 people in it, and we weren't very well versed at fractionating yeast mitochondria, whereas these were world experts, so we were just delighted to interact, and I went to Munich the next week, and presented some of the better described mutants that we had that affected mitochondrial signal hypothesis. But I also, at the end of my talk, described this particular mutant, and Walter and Ulrich were somewhat worried that what was happening in this mutant was that proteins were coming in through this contact site, but weren't getting entirely into the mitochondrial matrix, that they were poking their internal signal peptides in, and signals were being cleaved, but then they weren't entirely entering, and of course they wouldn't fold if they had entered through the membrane. So I said, well, I'd be absolutely delighted to send you the mutant, and you can take mitochondria, I'm sure, from this mutant very effectively and analyze to see what's going on. In fact, as soon as I got back to the mutant, 2 weeks later, Ulrich called up to say excitedly, you're right, the proteins are entirely in the mitochondrial matrix, I've been adding exogenous protease, it doesn't touch them, so it seems like they've gone into the matrix space and they've failed to fold correctly. So this is a really wonderful time when there was a lot of back and forth, but Ulrich and I talked to one of the each other discussing this stuff together, and here is created a public web project, that I was working on very often as well, on the chamber of material, and maybe this is sort of telling us how this is all going to work out. But in any case, we carried out together a series of further experiments on a number of mitochondrial matrix proteins to see what was happening to them. And one of the most exciting results came with this particular protein, the risky iron sulfur protein. So this is a protein that is imported to the matrix space and has to be cleaved twice as a monomer before it enters the intermitochondrial membrane. And when we looked at this iron sulfur protein, we found it in either a completely cleaved state or in a once cleaved state, as if the protein had not folded correctly and had not undergone copper cleavage that enables its correct biogenesis. So this is the first of a monomeric protein where we saw effects in this particular mutant. At this point, we rescued the mutant in the library. So we put on a bank of these clones, and the gene that rescued was sequenced nature during the summer cleaning days. And at this point, we knew that there was a monocyclic usable protein in some mitochondria. We didn't identify it before by the Pulver, who was the island, and we had a feeling that Pulver was analyzing the sequence of the corresponding homolog in each for the experiment to necessary. So on Saturday afternoon that summer, Dave Chang called up Richard Pulver to demand the sequence of this gene to match the sequence that he had of the homolog he was studying. Well, I had gone to JFK Airport to pick up Ulrich because the 2 of us were going to the Gordon conference on mitochondria the next day, and my son came with us, and it was many hours, but we got back to our little beach house around 6 o'clock in the evening, and there's me, Chang, and the lab standing in our front yard, and he was just jumping up and down holding the sequencing cell saying, it's a dead match, it's a dead match. And we said, well, what's a dead match? She said, I called up Pulver. Our protein corresponds to the swing assembly that he's studying. And so then 2 and 2 came together in a really amazing moment. We had a wonderful evening of celebration, but basically what it amounted to was what we then called T-Shock protein 60, collectively with Richard and Ulrich and Walter and everybody. This monstrous heat-inducible protein was actually assisting the folding of all these proteins being imported into the mitochondrial matrix. And in fact, however, HSP60 is essential at all temperatures. So its assistance to compound chain folding is required under normal conditions, which embody often relatively high temperatures and very high solute concentrations in the mitochondrial matrix. For those, this machine is essential under all conditions. Now, shortly after this, Ulrich carried out a beautiful experiment with Jochen Osterman, where they analyzed another monomeric protein by and what they could see was that when they put a signal peptide on the HFRs, they could go into mitochondria. Much of the shock experiments, when they could go into mitochondria, it became associated with this complex, with this ring assembly that Pulver had first identified, the HSP60 complex, as long as ATP was relatively deprived from mitochondria. If they added ATP back to the system, they now saw DHFRs apart from this complex and appear as a native folded protein. While the protein, I should say, was associated with HSP60, it seems to be non-native, very protease susceptible, recognizable by antibodies that specifically saw non-native forms of DHFR. And so these experiments really, with the iron sulfur protein with DHFR, convinced us that HSP60 was some sort of a folding machine in the mitochondrial matrix. And of course, there's some generality to this, because when we saw the sequence of HSP60, we knew already that it was going to be homologous, and it is homologous to the proteol protein in the bacterial cytoplasm, essential in that context, and it shows to be involved, or that implicated early as being involved with lambda phase assembly. Now this idea has moved to lambda phase protein folding. There was also protein inside the chloroplast called the Rubisco binding protein, identified by John Ellis as being required for assembly of Rubisco, which is a CO2 fixing enzyme. Is that the most abundant protein in the biosphere? This now has become the level of thinking that Rubisco binding protein was actually creating protein folding of Rubisco subunits. And finally, shortly thereafter, working together, Ulrich and I with Jonathan Schmidt identified a T-Shock protein in thermophilic bacteria that we call thermophilic factor 55, another double ring assembly that is highly induced when you take these normal heat-loving bacteria and take them to an even higher temperature. It turns out it works just like a chaperone. It also could turn over ATP and DNA just like these other ring assemblies. And in fact, when we analyzed this subunit, we found a homology to a protein in the eukaryotic cytosol called CCD CCT for short, received the eukaryotic, a member of the eukaryotic cytosol chaperone, one subunit of the K subunit ring. They comprise that chaperone and a special folding actin 2 beta propeller proteins and many other proteins. So the generality of these ring assemblies and mediated protein folding in the state seems to be established. And so finally, mechanistically, 20 years later, we understand at least how the bacterial chaperone system works in pretty good detail now with much biochemistry, X-ray crystallography, and oxidase, and a lot of conducted on this particular machinery. The GrowYell machine is cooperating with GrowYell, and the bottom line in terms of mechanism is that an open ring of GrowYell with all this hydrophobic surface specifically binds non-native proteins to their exposure of hydrophobic surface that will vary to the interior in the native state. Thus, GrowYell specifically recognizes non-native proteins, and once it's bound to protein, when GrowYell now encapsulates the same ring that's bound by polypeptide, the polypeptide is released into this hydrophilic folding chamber. All this blue here signifies electrostatic residues, and the polypeptide now folds in isolation in a sequestered environment where it simply can't aggregate with any other protein, and it basically uses antisense principles as primary structure to find its way to the native state without the fear of aggregation or going off pathway and being lost. So, in general, molecular chaperones, all the formats we talk about all the classes of these components, they basically recognize exposed hydrophobic surfaces that are proper when a protein is folded during biosynthesis, and the idea of the chaperone is to bind these surfaces and prevent them from self-associating with each other in multimolecular aggregates. The idea of all of the chaperones is to prevent aggregation by binding these surfaces in various geometric contexts. The remarkable thing about the chaperones, however, that's really unique is that they get nucleotides to release the polypeptide into a sequestered folding chamber where the polypeptide really has no chance of aggregation and has a chance to fold using its own primary structure to the native state. One of nature's really most beautiful machines used for this final step of information transfer. So thanks very much for listening to this lecture. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. I have been carrying out experiments with a company at Johns Hopkins, and one of the experiments we do was using phage-mediated transduction as a liquid gene of one strain into another using a virus as a carrier of that genetic information. A very important technology that has been widely used and very important in the development of our notions of molecular biology and microbiome. But at the same time, I have decided to move from my work in bacteria to try to learn something about mammalian cells. It was largely to try to test whether the ideas that had prevailed in gene function in microbes could be found with mammalian cells. And so here all day long to work at Salt Institute with Ricardo Filippo and to work on the superviruses. I chose the superviruses because they were known to have very small genome, and they were known to transform double cells into cancer cells. And with that seemed like a nice place to start with gene using viruses that have limited genetic information. Media will follow. Expression of that gene seemed tempting when they're using trying to study the whole of a cell genome. Every time I was out there, it was reported that when a bacterial polyomric mammalian cell virus are produced, but once they're propagated, there are virions which contain the single DNA and not viral. And that was very similar to the bacterial transduction system P1, which is an E. coli and comes out with P1 particles that contain E. coli segments of DNA. And it seems to be interesting to think about the idea of trying to develop that transduction system for mammalian cells to facilitate the genetic modification of cells, much as we can have with microbes. So very quickly it became clear that a single virus particle does not contain very much DNA represented in about 5 domains. And the prospect of being able to find the gene that is present in the human genome, associated with experiments, and find it in a virus particle in A5 seemed pretty small. So kind of like the idea that we could actually introduce a gene into mammalian cells that we could do it without a virus particle. We could actually take the individual DNA, which we know, and integrate it into the cell's DNA that affects it, and we could substitute DNA, anything we want to put into the mammalian cell. And so the first idea was, could we get two different DNAs, join them together covalently, and then use them as a way, as a transition agent? And we had in the lab a plasmid lambda-DB gal, a small DNA molecule, about 10 kb, 10 lambda and protein extract for the and they typically manufacture then encode the gal on the the idea was to take DNA and join them together. And we found a way to join DNA molecules together, and we saw that we know that Dr. Watson is well known for developing this model of the DNA structure and for ideas. I just didn't see that I had any likelihood of doing something equal to or potentially with one. So I think, this is it's a practical thing here. The people involved in it, one of the role lots of them, I ended up with. Well, Francis May Wynn, we're going to what's it, the Williams of I wrote it, WS was opposite, right? Both were necessary, both were necessary. But I also sort of miss it compared to what's been there, I was. He was always considered that he would be. I would like almost information would be a corner, just trying to figure out what was happening inside, and not trying to validate things. So right now I haven't missed Francis a long time. I didn't feel the need of it, but now I think all the time about cancer and what it is and how we might cure it. And I just wish Francis were alive because he look at it what I look at and say I'm right. People look at the data don't have the courage to say something ain't right. It's impossible. Thinking about science today, young people getting into science. What are the points that you might offer? It's much harder to be different today. I think survive. And like everyone else is awful. I mean, as I said, it means you'll never do anything to yourself, you think. You like to believe you could hit a home run. And let me take this words. Yes, you're not aiming the butt, you're going big. And what are you most passionate about right now? Well, I did your cancer since 1948, and I'm sure we determined I want to be part of it. So you're an 85 or have a great group. So I'm not satisfied with, telling you, this sort of thing. I guess from the time it wouldn't, I get through since my science, I'm obsessed. Inside the synapse, you can see these little circles of the synaptic vesicles, and you see those dense areas down the bottom. That's the place where the one nerve cell, presynaptic nerve cell, contacts the other nerve cell, the postsynaptic nerve cell. It's right there. The presynaptic nerve cell releases transmitter to send a signal to the postsynaptic nerve cell. Now, once we had these pictures, and the group at University College London had shown that this release of transmitter comes in little spurts. They call them quantum. It seemed obvious from the pictures that the vesicles might contain the quantum. So that was one of the vesicle hypotheses, and this is where I came into the picture. We had no idea how the vesicles might release the transmitter or how new vesicles might be reformed after they release the transmitter. At that point, John Heuser joined my lab from University College London, where we were working on this beautiful preparation for program muscle reduction, which is a sausage-shaped structure. I've got my hand on right here, and you can see it has synaptic vesicles, just like it says, a synapse between a nerve and a muscle, rather than between a nerve and a nerve. And the structure is beautifully clear. And so we decided that we would stimulate it and see what happens to what changes in structure might occur from stimulation that was telling about what how the quantum release or release remade. So when we stimulated, we got amazing results. Many of the synaptic vesicles disappeared, and in their place, these big vacuole things appeared. And the vacuoles filled inside the synapse, and also inside the synapse, there were little tiny vesicles with plenty of stuff on them. These are called vesicles. They were the way to cover from the outside. This makes sense. Maybe the vesicles are being released somehow, used somehow, and then they're being recovered by bringing in more surface membrane. If that's the case, we should be able to test it by using a dense material. You can see it on the microscope. Now the synapse, it's a simulator, it recovers it in minutes. So we put the dense material around the outside, let it recover. If the outside is the source of the synaptic vesicles, then the synaptic vesicles should have a dense material in it. And indeed they did. So there's synaptic vesicles with dense material. So the synapse is simulated, it's recovered, and taking out the dense material in the synaptic vesicles. This allows us to propose a theory of synaptic vesicle recycling. The idea is that the synaptic vesicles are released and become part of the surface. I mean, not this might be the case because we stimulate synaptic is clear. But after the vesicle on the surface is recovered by these little cooling vesicles pitching off, also classified large vesicles pitching off quickly and have very high levels of release. And once inside, the membrane can sort out back and made back into synaptic vesicles. So that's the theory of synaptic vesicle recycling. The paper was very well received. John went back to London, and we were scratching our heads because this theory was very satisfying and complete from both our points of view. The problem being that we can see vesicles lined up on the surface, so we don't see how they release. The reason I couldn't see is because we're using chemical pistons. They're very, very slow. And so by the time the piston got there, everything was over. And we couldn't really catch that fleeting event that would involve the release of a squirt transmitter. We talked to Dave, we could do this with proving it. All the machine on that. They got to work. So we thought, John, I got to do this. I think it's a technique of that. Say, oh, that's what we scratch it. It allows you to see the surface of the synapse, but it's not the synapse. When you see the surface of the synapse, I see this reading machine is not working. We can occasionally see what the vesicles coming out. So I called John one night, he's on over here, and let's get to work on this. And he came over for about 2 months and worked with this machine with very, very strong results. And we were scratching our heads, we didn't know what was wrong. But John gets a call from University College, from University of California, San Francisco. We like to have a position out here. So John goes out to San Francisco, and that begins 5 years. He and I go back and forth across the country trying to work out this problem. Now, this is John, and who came back from London, and we spent a lot of time together, very intense time at University College, San Francisco. Time was so intense that people, for curiosity, out of the lab, a lot of people left. We argued like old married couples every day, and people said it was just terrible. And some people thought we might be a married couple, but we weren't. We were just intensely linked. in this quest to try to figure this thing out. And we kept doing cleaning around this thing, and once in a while we get a little result. And somebody corrected the both of us, and we were in this close relationship. You never know whose idea it is. The idea just comes together. And if you drop something on something, it's going to bounce. And so the machine that we're trying to run is on a whole lot of places to bounce. And so she has a story about the famous remarkable genius of the University of California, named California Genius, but that had a vision of the book. And it's actually on. The whole tissue drops it down on the way. Now the key here was we used a heavy metal weight, a big strong magnet, and we also used spring loading. And by adjusting the springs and the magnets, and we used electrical contactors to see what was actually happening on the hip, we figured out that with a certain combination of forces, we could get rid of the bounce. It's very hard. But once we got rid of the bounce, we started getting vocal breathing every time. And we could then go and look at the neuromuscular junctions. Now this machine that Tim built had the front neuromuscular junctions on that little plunger thing on the end. And on that plunger, there's a little wire hook, two little wire hooks, and we could hook the nerve to the muscle. So on the way down, there's a trigger. We could trigger the stimulate the nerve right before the muscle got frozen. And we could look at the different time periods. And we did some electrical measurements of the freezing rate. We found it was freezing less than 10 milliseconds. So we were able to do structure for the first time in sub-millisecond resolution. Now, when we look at the neuromuscular junction at rest with no stimulation, we saw what the spectrum is. Oh, that's what sunlight up on the surface. But when we stimulated, 4 milliseconds before it hit. 2 milliseconds we saw nothing. 4 milliseconds. All of a sudden the whole surface of the nerve began to bubble. And you see what they look like vesicle opening. Over down there and over there. They were flashed. And so vesicle fused and opened. Now, how much stress this happens within milliseconds. And if you wait a few more milliseconds, the vesicles proceed to flatten out and dissolve into the surface. Now, using the refractor technique to show this the surface, we can actually see that. You come down the vesicle, a little flash, and look at the surface, it looks like a ring. And as it flattens out, the ring would expand. So what you see here at different times, from the left to right, the ring expanding. Finally, it flattens out, completely flattens out, and you see a little indentation. So this is a sequence of events that shows that the vesicles are actually fusing and becoming part of the surface. Now, this is exactly what we wanted to see to fill in the gap in our recycling theory, because the recycling theory said that the new vesicles were coming from the surface. So how did vesicles get to the surface? Well, now we can actually see vesicles joining the surface and flattening out on the surface. Furthermore, we can count the number of these events, and we can measure physiologically how many sports there were, and we relate the number of sports to the number of structural events, and we can know the release and match perfectly. So you see that we have very good evidence of the vesicle recycling hypothesis. Now, any theory you come up with is going to have its factors, and people start what you should. That's what science is supposed to be about. And so people started to think, well, maybe some vesicles recycle, maybe other vesicles just come to the surface and they grow, and release a little transfer. And that was called Histamine theory. And John remarked, well, I'm going to go Histamine per se, but there are more and more evidence coming up for Histamine. And it seems to me that it has a small part in substances for some reason. It's really volume. And in this case, structurally, such a small rapid that we get probably these freezing techniques. So that was a delightful decade of snappy structure. And late one night, John and I said, Johnson, I turned to Johnson, why are we doing this? Or Eliza, why are outside the lab? We'll look at our why status. And why are we doing this? And John turned to me and said, well, you know, Tom, the most important thing in science is to be together with a colleague at that moment when you discover something. When some piece of nature unfolds and you see something new. And I spent the whole rest of the summer fantasizing about this one. I actually don't remember what the rest of the summer was about. The next day, I got in touch with this man, Douglas Thrasher, and found out that he was in the process of forming a senior anchor for GFP of the jellyfish. We had a wonderful conversation, culminating in a decision to collaborate to see whether GFP could be used in other organisms. A few years later, I was lucky enough to get a very talented graduate student in my lab, T.A. Strucken, who came to the lab having just finished a master's degree in chemical engineering working on fluorescence. She came in the lab to do rotation, and this was the project she was given. We got back in touch with Douglas, who had called a team by this time, sent this to us, and T.A. proceeded to survey it for you. Of course, he called it. When she did make this service, there was feelings over a problem, and that problem was, what the truth would work as what we know about the GFP molecules. Like this time, investigators found that GFP had a rather useful post-translational adaptation. The peptide backbone in GFP cycles, and this thinking of this cycle was really what it did. Speculated by say 1, 2, or maybe 1 ingredients, which was the turquoise, translated product. So it wasn't sure thing that this would work. Nonetheless, he had tried to use them, and to our great joy, he said it worked very nicely. And he proposed the last couple of that day, about 1 month after she had graduate school, where she found a strong fluorescent alpha in this picture. She was also lucky in another sense. That is how we did the particular experiment. So Douglas's clone had a sequencing of jellyfish that was really the coding sequence, which is accurate here in green, and non-coding sequence, which is in red. He had gotten this as an E401 with research fragment. Now, we could have simply taken that research fragment and used that in our experiments, but I decided I didn't want the extra stuff, and that it would be better to use PCR and amplify just the region. I wasn't sure what the rest was going to be, but this turned out to be a very lucky choice, because it turns out that at least 3 other labs I know tried to experiment that used PCR on 1 fragment, but they did that. They never got any fluorescence, so there was something in these extra sequences that seemed to interfere with the production of fluorescent protein. We didn't do that. We didn't have that problem, but in 1 month we knew that this was going to work. We were very excited now that we got to review all this video publish this. Because it didn't work, we decided that this was time now to publish the material. We had a little bit of difficulty with publishing the paper. So we sent the paper in, we were reviewing in Science, and the first thing we found was that the editors were not going to send it out. There was for consideration because they did not like the title. The original title was Fluorescent Protein, a new marker for gene expression, and the editors told me that all the papers in the journal were new and novel, so we could use the old title without changing the title. I was reluctant into this, so in retaliation, the title I gave them was considerably longer. Fluorescent Protein was built up into the added component to produce a fluorescent product in Coteria itself. This is essentially the entire paper. I got reviewed, the reviewers liked it, and then the copy editor got in touch with me and said, you know, your title is something more. You possibly shortened it. I said, I think I can do that. I changed it to a final title. This is fluorescent protein as a marker for gene expression. This was not the end of our troubles, though. We sent in this picture that you see here that eventually made it to the cover of Science. And I was very proud of this picture because what it shows is a growing neurocellular marker of the genome. And I wanted to point out to them that GFP can be used in living tissue. The art editor, the cover editor, called me up and said that they really liked the picture, they wanted to use it on the cover, but there was one problem. That problem was that they never liked to use the color green on the cover. Would I consider changing the color of the picture? I said, no, I really wanted it to be green. Unfortunately, they kept it in the color. The final problem we had in publication was this time we already given samples of plasma. People tried for themselves. We were getting wonderful reports back. People saying that it had worked. So I wanted to put that as a personal communication into our paper. And the people that we asked were all uniformly very generous and allowed us to do this. One person, however, asked for some additional considerations. Specifically, you probably can't read it in this letter, but the letter asked that I prepare coffee every Saturday morning for 2 months, prepare a special French dinner, and take up the garbage my week for a month. These are requirements that I like to do occasionally. But I really wanted to use her work, and although we still debate about whether I actually get paid up on it, the work she did was really wonderful. It was published a few months later. But she's the person that made the first protein fusion with GFP. So she was able to show that GFP could be linked to other proteins, and that meant one could follow those other proteins, check their localization, but also see their movements within cells and tissues. A beautiful example of the use of GFP protein fusions can be seen in this movie by Roger Silver, the gorilla, of the nuclear divisions in the embryo of Drosophila. I've taken this from the Cell Image Library of the Society for Cell Biology. It's on their website. It's a really beautiful picture showing this time-lapse film, cell division. You see the spindle label, 6 forming, and then dissolving, and forming once again. GFP, other fluorescent proteins and derivatives have been used for thousands by thousands of experiments throughout biology. Their small size and heritability provide a dynamic and essentially non-invasive means of following biological processes in living cells. We've already learned much, and hopefully we will learn more from these molecules in the future. I want to close with some more general lessons that I take from the story of the development of GFP. First, many discoveries are accidental. Certainly the discovery of GFP is one of those cases. Sure, we're not looking for a fluorescent protein, we're looking for a bioluminescent protein. This experiment led into this rather wonderful molecule. Second, scientific progress is cumulative. It's not the product of just Shimura on a cell with a pressure. It's going to be other people like Chen, who developed the first molecules of tether emission colors, who also developed the first precase molecular monitors using the fluorescence proteins, or the Yonas and Galvanics who discovered the first red fluorescent protein by looking at corals. And really the thousands of people that have added to the usefulness of GFP. Third, I think this is a good example of saying that all life should be done. We should not simply be working with molecules. And we now feel very grateful that Shimura was interested in fundamental biological questions that had nothing to do with biology or now. How it is that some organisms can be explained, and it was that curiosity that led him to develop jellyfish, and then led him to discover GFP. And finally, the GFP story is a good example of how essential this research is. When Shimura discovered GFP, I don't think anyone would have imagined the usefulness it would have for other discoveries of basic research throughout biological sciences, or for investigations in human health, used to study HIV, AIDS, and inherited diseases, or that would be useful in biotechnology. The usefulness comes from other people, but they've done this all starts with that basic research. It's so necessary. So what I want to do is close with one of my favorite quotes about basic research. It comes from Robert R. Wilson, who was a physicist who was the first head of the Fermi Lab at the Accelerator in Peking, Illinois. He was asked in 1963 before a congressional committee to justify why they should pay for this rather enormous science experiment. He was asked many times to try to describe the security benefits, the benefits for national defense that would come from this accelerator of what was going to be right. And every time he was asked, he said no, and then he finally said that the accelerator had only to do with the respect with which we regard one another, the dignity of men, our love of culture. It has to do with whether we are good patriots, good soldiers, good poets. I mean all the things that we do better in our country and our patriotic honor. It has nothing to do directly with defending the country, except to make it work for that. Thank you. Isolated in 1952 by Nazia Dan, and it brought forward the hope that we'd be able to understand what this was made of and maybe how it works. And there was a period of perhaps 10 years in which many became isolated spindles trying to isolate granulates and proteins, and we failed because the structure was too complex. There were too many proteins, and we just didn't have an assay. We knew that there was a fibrous protein, and that is, say, a filament, because from the work of Sigmund Inouye, he has shown that the spindle is fiber printed, and therefore it must be to some extent, a parallel array of filamentous proteins, and we wanted to find out what that filament was. And Sigmund Inouye will also give us on this subject, which I suggest dropping that you listen to as well. So we tried and failed both on chicken eggs and growing cells in culture, and I'm just putting the proteins, and nothing came out of it. So we had the idea that maybe we could use a drug called colchicine, a whole book of different colchicine, and it was not to be specific, apparently specific in blocking cell division, although there were controversies as to what this really meant. Maybe it did block cell division, maybe it stimulated cell division, but everything suggested that this was a compound that we might be able to use if the long shot suggested might be correct, that this specific molecule was binding in some way or interfering in some way with the action of the formation of the spindle fibers. And so we set out to synthesize a trillion labeled colchicine because this would allow us to see if it was binding to something in the cell. This could be done by a method which was non-specific but easily done, and we purified the trillion labeled colchicine and indeed showed that it was taken up by cells in tissue culture as well as into sears and gigs, which we had some sears in the too, and that it was concentrated by the cell, which was that it was binding to some component that was there in relatively large amounts. It couldn't be an enzyme, it had to be possibly a structural protein. So it seemed like that this was worth trying. It seemed, on the other hand, that the chances of this project succeeding were very, very small because it was a long shot idea, and I didn't like at first to give it to a graduate student to work on because he could have wasted 2 or 3 years to got over. But anyway, Gary Borzi joined the lab around that time, and well, what did you want to do, Gary, when you got to the lab? I think before getting on the project, I was an undergrad at the University of Chicago, and Frank Child was one of my professors, and he was teaching biology and showed me how cells divide, and actually saw how cells divide, and I asked him, rather naively, like all undergraduate scholars suppose, well, how does it work? What's the mechanism? And it was clear that there was no molecular understanding of the mechanism, and this was before I learned about your lab. I thought, this is a fantastic problem to be, but it's a problem that's worth spending one's career on. And then, after graduating and looking at graduate school, I learned about the work of colchicine, and I thought, oh my God, this is the molecular entree to the problem of my book. So that's why I wanted to join the lab. So then, what we had to do was to get an assay, and that was to get somebody that found that the protein, spin it off, separate it out of columns, later put it onto DAE filter paper, and then what we could do would be to make an extract of the cell, spin off the particles of the protein, and say, well, how much colchicine is found, and then we could do what biochemists do, to fractionate it into different test tubes and testing to see how much colchicine binding activity, and then we could vote, because that was the whole issue, but we were trying to isolate the railroad tracks, and there's no assay for railroad tracks, it's not an enzyme, and so the whole trick here was to find an assay, and it was a long shot that, but it turned out, as the work went on, Gary, and also other people like Calamity, Jim Korsenberg, developed the approaches, and then once we figured out that it wasn't just in mitosis, but it was present all over, and particularly in brain, and that was just as I said, we were testing to see if it was a distribution of binding related to mitosis, and the brain was in control, and that changed our thinking, because clearly this was a widespread protein, which was in mitosis, but was all over the place. Well, now we know it's a widespread protein, but at that time when we got the brain result, it was very puzzling. It was very puzzling. So the idea was to assay different tissues varying in mitotic index. So the expectation was those tissues high in mitotic index would have high colchicine binding, brain very low in mitotic index would be very low, and then we got this astounding result that brain was very high. And now the students at that time would be around Dr. Pond and talk about results, and I remember very distinctly all our fellow students were saying it's clearly an artifact of this drug partitioning into the membrane of nerve cells because it's so rich in membrane structure being with all the neuronal processes. So it's an artifact. So we didn't immediately conclude from the brain result that this was telling us something about the widespread nature of the colchicine binding protein to them. We had to do further tests. One further test was to take advantage of a previous laboratory association that you had, as you recall, when you entered adventure in Chile and getting sweet axoplasm from the marine station in Chile. And so you arranged to get some of that shipped up to us, and we tested it, and we thought that if there's something important to brain, it might be even more abundant in the pure axoplasm, and in fact it was. And this would also provide a test for whether or not the drug was partitioning into the membrane, because the membrane would be present in the axoplasm. And here this positive result gave us reassurance that maybe it wasn't an artifact, despite being a brain, but it had a deeper significance. And it's around that time, as I recall, that we came out to this whole, around that time, maybe we don't have the sequence right, but I came out to this whole to learn how to isolate spindles and extract protein from spindles. We also learned how to isolate sperm tails and cilia and flagella, because those systems also have microtubules, and the word microtubules had only recently been coined because of the introduction of an fixative and preserve them. Previously they hadn't been preserved. So I learned how to isolate mitotic spindles here and extract the protein in a more gentle way than had been done previously, and found that we could identify the colchicine binding protein with the same molecular properties. We used sedimentation at that time to identify how rapidly it moved in the centrifugal field. So it had the same properties as the colchicine binding. molecule from these different sources, and he asked what's the structural basis, is there a structural basis for this? And the structure that we thought was common among all these sources was the microtubule. And that's where we made that suggestion. And because we haven't been able to do the crucial experiments to take this purified protein and turn it into microtubule. And we struggled. And we struggled with that. And I think we sometimes got some